What if you were tormented by an unseen predator for nearly a decade, only to have authorities doubt your every word? This is the terrifying true story of Cindy James, a woman whose life became a real-life horror movie. Was she truly being stalked, or was there something even darker at play? On June 8, 1989, the body of 44-year-old Cindy James was discovered in a suburban neighborhood in Richmond, British Columbia. Her hands and feet were tied, a black nylon stocking was wrapped around her neck, and her body showed clear signs of violence. If you like the video you are watching now, subscribe for more true crime documentary stories daily update. Thank you. What made Cindy's death even more disturbing was that, for nearly 7 years, she had reported over 100 instances of harassment, stalking, and attacks. Yet, despite the evidence, police weren't convinced she had an actual stalker. Was Cindy the victim of a relentless tormentor? Or was she suffering from a psychological breakdown that led to her tragic demise? The case remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries in true crime history. Cindy James was a former nurse and school administrator. She was well-liked, intelligent, and had no known enemies. In 1981, shortly after separating from her husband, Dr. Roy Makepeace, Cindy began receiving harassing phone calls. The voice on the other end was sometimes a whisper, sometimes a growl. Then, the calls escalated to silent threats, heavy breathing, chilling laughter, and eerie messages that left her sleepless at night. Cindy reported the harassment to the police, but no solid leads emerged. Then, things took a terrifying turn. Dead animals began appearing on her property. Someone slashed the cushions of her car seats. At night, shadows lurked outside her windows. Soon, the threats became physical. One evening, Cindy's friend found her semi-conscious in her yard, a black nylon stocking around her neck and a needle mark in her arm. Despite these attacks, the police struggled to find evidence of an actual stalker. There were no fingerprints, no clear suspects, and Cindy herself seemed reluctant to share certain details. Her close friends believed she was telling the truth. But law enforcement had doubts. Was Cindy orchestrating the attacks herself? When asked if she recognized the voice in the phone calls, Cindy hinted that she suspected her ex-husband. But no proof ever surfaced linking him to the crimes. Cindy changed her name, moved homes, and even hired a private investigator named Ozzy Caban to keep watch over her. But the harassment didn't stop. In one instance, Cindy was found in a ditch 6 miles from her home, wearing a man's work boot and confused about how she got there. Caban installed a two-way radio in Cindy's house. One night, he heard noises from her end, but when he arrived minutes later, she was unconscious, bound, and had another nylon stocking around her neck. The trauma took its toll on Cindy. She suffered from anxiety, depression, and paranoia. Some believed that years of fear had driven her to harm herself, while others insisted there was someone out there terrorizing her. Police pressured Cindy to confess if she was behind the incidents, but she refused, claiming, "I'm not suicidal, and I would never do this to myself." On May 25, 1989, Cindy vanished. Her car was found abandoned in a shopping plaza parking lot. Inside were groceries, a wrapped gift, and her wallet. 2 weeks later, her body was discovered in a nearby yard. The scene was gruesome. She had been strangled with a stocking, bound, and appeared to have been drugged. Shockingly, despite the disturbing circumstances, the police ruled Cindy's death a suicide. Their reasoning? No evidence of an attacker. They argued that Cindy had tied herself up, injected herself with morphine, and succumbed to self-inflicted injuries. But experts pointed out the extreme difficulty of binding oneself in the manner Cindy was found. Could she really have done this alone? How could Cindy have injected herself and then disposed of the needle in a location away from her body? If Cindy faked the attacks for 7 years, why go to such extremes? Was there a killer who had finally succeeded after years of torment? The stalker theory. Many believe Cindy was being harassed by a real person, possibly her ex-husband or someone with a vendetta. The police negligence theory. Some argue that law enforcement dismissed evidence and failed to protect Cindy. The psychological breakdown theory. Others believe Cindy's fear escalated into a mental disorder that led to self-inflicted harm. To this day, Cindy's case remains unsolved. No definitive proof exists to confirm whether she was murdered or if she staged her own death. Her friends and family insist that Cindy was a victim, while skeptics argue that the case points to an elaborate psychological battle. What do you think? Was Cindy James the prey of an unknown predator, or the architect of her own tragic fate? The case of Cindy James is one of the strangest and most debated mysteries in true crime history. If you found this story intriguing, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your theories below. Until next time, stay safe and always trust your instincts.